Morning, guys. Just want to show you. Okay, I hope you're live now. Okay, let me show you about Picasso. Picasso.com. It's not .com. It's XYZ. Okay. Hope you guys love to see videos, series, movies, and all those things on your different applications like Amazon Prime. Okay, like this Amazon Prime, and then you have to pay for it, you have to subscribe it. Then there is Netflix, as we all know. Also, you have to buy, you have to subscribe, then only you can go and watch. Then there is Z Movies, Z5, and all its Pix. Then Sony Live, right? All these things you need to subscribe, and all those things you have to do. So I got something better for you, which is free of cost, which is, you can get it out of no cost. Okay, and if you really want this, what you have to do nothing, but you just have to okay, just have to come on this site, and then you will get to see this Picasso, and you need to download this, and after downloading you will get an APK file. Okay, and then that APK file, and this is for your mobile, for your Fire Sticks, or for your Android TV. Okay, you can download this, and then you can run that file, and then you will be able to watch anything free of cost. Okay, so that was it for the thing. I don't know, you got it. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna see on YouTube. Okay. If you guys want, you can just follow this guy, this boy in heaven, okay, on Instagram. And let's see about, what's this name? Exam Pro. Okay, AWS Associate. Okay. This is 10 hours of video. Oh my god, that's, oh my god. What's this? No. Certified developer. Certified. No, not certified. This one is. Okay.
And it is the Solutions Architect Associate Certification. So if you're looking to pass that exam, this is the course for you. And we are going to learn a broad amount of AWS services. We're going to learn how to build applications that are highly available, scalable, and durable. And we're going to learn how to architect solutions based on the business use case. Now, if you're looking at this course and it's 2020 and you're wondering if you can use it to pass, you definitely can, because the video content here was shot in late 2019. The only difference is that the AWS interface has changed a little bit in terms of aesthetic. But it's more or less the same, so you can definitely use this course. If you want a high chance of passing, I definitely recommend that you do the hands-on labs here in your own AWS account. And if you enjoy this course, I definitely want to get your feedback, so definitely share anything that you've experienced throughout this course here. And if you pass, I definitely want to hear that as well. And I also hope you enjoy this course, and good luck studying.
Oh my God, this is okay, guys. So this is AWS Solution Architect Associate exam. Okay, and if you guys are planning for it, I hope you guys are plan. And because a lot of the companies right now are going towards cloud, and everyone has to, go through this, because if it's not only for the workers, I mean, who really want to work, but if you really get to know about cloud and all and technologies, because this is 2021, nobody is living without a phone, nobody is living without a television. So everyone should get to know about these things. And in future, maybe everyone has to work on the basis of these knowledge. So these are really good to learn. And if you're working somewhere, or if you're trying to, uh, go for a job or interview or anything, so if you have these certificates or these kind of knowledge, and while discussing or while telling other people's, you'll get something more than a normal people who doesn't know about all these things. You'll be having a better chance. Okay. So there is a YouTube video on this. This is not mine, and this is freecodecamp.org, and is it's on the Exam Guru, or you can say the Exam Pro. And this is 10 hours of a video. If you just watch this video, you'll be able to pass the exam. That is what this video is all about. Okay, and almost lakh of people have already watched it since 23rd December 2019. And after this, watching this video, you have to go for this exam, and then after giving the exams, you will get a certificate. After passing on 72%, exams points 1,000 points, and you need to score around 720 points, and it's all about 65 questions. So let's see how it goes. Okay, I'm there with you. And I think if I'll not be able to complete this on live, you guys can go over this particular, YouTube channel. You can watch it, okay? Because I'm just showing this on a live video, so might be it is good. But if I upload this video after the live, then might be YouTube, that what you call is copyright things will act on my video, so I won't be able to upload it. So I better suggest you to guys go here and do your you know learning thing for the business architect or any other. He has provided a lot of different exams. I passed with a 738 on the first try. I want to celebrate it here since I got no one to talk about this. See? Courses content part 1, part 2 is reply to the comment, meet your instructor. Just the cheat sheet for those who doing last day review like me. Thank you, the course. Okay, so people has worked a lot and they have provided you a lot of things. S3, Snowball, VFI endpoints, VFI flow logs, and ECL. So these are the things that people have showed you. People who mocks unlike should know how much time consuming and frustrating efforts a man has put there to make this content video. Yes, this man has done a lot. Okay, and we have to support him to encourage these kind of people so that they can provide these kind of contents after working and collaborating their teamwork. On first hour you have the cheat sheet of S3. On first 9 hour you have cheat sheet of Snowball and Snowball Mobile, or 20 minutes cheat sheet of VPC endpoint. Okay, so these are the things, and thank you so much for the nicely acclimated content. Though I was enrolled another paid course, I visited multiple times to refresh my knowledge and pass the exam. Amazing content, and it took me 3 days to complete this course, and it was well worth it. There are some areas I still want to review. Again, I will let you know how my exam goes. So a lot of people are, learning this. You can see that. Sign up for your paid stuff too. Thank you for the free training. Has anyone gained certification by following this course? There's so many training courses. I'm overwhelmed. just finished this course. Amazing work, Andrew. It's fast. Okay. Then yesterday I passed exams with the help of this course, along with another practice exams. Of exam cheat sheets are great for some data, quick and relevant to the exams. Thank Andrew and Free Code Exam for sharing this. Much appreciated. SSL per target. Tons of thanks. So there are a lot of people giving thanks. This guy. Okay. So let's start it.
Hey, this is Andrew Brown from Exam Pro, and we are going to look at the Solution Architect Associate and whether it's a good fit for us to take the certification. So the first thing I want you to know is that this kind of role is for finding creative solutions by leveraging cloud services instead of reinventing the wheel. It's all about big picture thinking. So you're going to need broad knowledge across multiple domains. It's great for those who get bored really easily, and so you're going to have to wear multiple hats. And it's really less about how are we going to implement this and more about what are we going to implement, okay? So you would come up with an architecture using multiple different cloud services, and then you would pass that on to your cloud engineers to actually go implement. It's not uncommon for a solution architect to be utilized within the business development team. So it's not quite unusual to see solution architects being very charismatic speakers and extroverts because they're going to have to talk to other companies to collaborate with, all right? And just to really give you a good idea of what a solution architect does, they're going to be creating a lot of architectural diagrams. So here I just pulled a bunch from
Just wait for a minute because what I think is that I started the video live, but I haven't given a tagline of this or something like this. So I don't know if people will be able to follow this, or if they are on my channel, they might be getting this. But if they're not on my channel, they won't be able to get this video live. But let's see. Okay, that's not a problem.
From the internet, and you can see kind of the complexity and how they tie into different services. You're going to require a lot of constant learning because AWS is constantly adding new services, and trying to figure out how they all fit together is a common thing. And advice that I get from some senior solution architects at large companies is you're always thinking about pricing, and you're always thinking about can you secure whatever that is, okay? But AWS is going to have their own definition there, which is all about the 5 pillars, which comes into the well-architected framework. But, you know, we'll learn that as we go along here. Okay, so let's talk about what value do we get out of the Solution Architect Associate. Well, it is the most popular AWS certification out of every single one. It's highly in demand with startups because you can help wherever help is needed. Startups from small to medium size just need people to fill any possible.
So as he stated that this is the most popular AWS certifications, okay? And there are a lot of certifications for AWS, but if you get this certification, Solution Architect Associate, you'll be able to stand out, okay? And it'll help you in a lot many ways, Solution Architect.
Possible role, and because you're going to have broad knowledge, you're going to be considered very, very valuable. It is recognized as the most important certification at the associate level, and it's going to really help you stand out on resumes. I would not say the associate is going to help you increase your salary too much, but you're definitely going to see a lot more job opportunities to see those increase.
And before this, if you really like to know more about the basics of the AWS and all those cloud technologies, you can go for the AWS Cloud Practitioner exam, and that you will be able to learn the basics of all those exam certificates and what exactly is AWS, Google Cloud, and all those things. So this is what is AWS, and the way I'm going to teach you, and it's like I'm also learning. I don't know about much of this solution architect. So, but I am a database administrator, okay, as a professional. So I might learn things from here, and I will try to explain it a bit if he's not able to explain it, okay, and we'll do it in a in a batches, okay. So once he explains something, and then I'll try to get as per my knowledge, and then I'll let you guys know what exactly is this.
Increase in salaries, you're going to have to get those pros and specialty certifications. Okay, so if you're still not sure whether you should take the Solution Architect Associate, let me just give you a little bit more information. So it is the most in-demand certification. So it has the most utility out of any other certification because of that broad knowledge. It's not too easy, but it's not too hard. So it's not too easy in the sense that the information you're learning is superficial. It's actually going to be very useful on the job, but it's also not that hard. So you're not going to risk failing the exam because you don't know the nitty gritties of all the services. Okay, it requires the least amount of technical knowledge. So if you're really more of a academic or theory based learner, instead of having that hands-on experience, you're going to excel here taking the Solution Architect Associate. And again, when in doubt, just take this certification because it gives you the most flexible future learning path. So I always say that if you aren't sure what specialty you want to take the Solution Architect Associate so you get to familiarize yourself with all the different kinds of roles that you can encounter. So if you're definitely thinking about doing big data, security, machine learning, I would absolutely think to take the Solution Architect Associate first. Of course, you can always do the Solution Architect Professional if you want to keep on going down this specific path. And if you are new to AWS and cloud computing in general, then I strongly recommend that you take the CCP before taking the Solution Architect Associate because it's a lot easier and it's going to give you more foundational knowledge so that you're going to have a really easy time with this exam. And it specifically is the direct upgrade path. So all that stuff you learn in the CCP is directly applicable to the Solution Architect Associate. So how much time are we going to have to invest in order to pass the Solution Architect Associate? And this is going to depend on your past experience. And so I've broken down 3 particular archetypes to give you an idea of time investment. So if you are already a cloud engineer, you're already working with AWS, you're looking at 20 hours of study. You could pass this in a week. Okay, but that's if you're using AWS on a day-to-day basis. If you are a bootcamp grad, it's going to take you 1 to 2 months. So we're looking between 80 to 160 hours of study. If you have never used AWS or heard of it, then you probably should go take the Certified Cloud Practitioner first. It's going to make things a lot easier, which has a lot more foundational information. You might start this here and be overwhelmed because you feel that you're missing information. So you will probably want to go there first. If you are a developer and you've been working in the industry for quite a few years, but maybe you've just never used AWS, then you're looking at 1 month of study. So that's about 80 hours of study. Okay. And so that will give you an idea how much time you need to commit. Okay, and so let's just touch on the exam itself here. So the exam itself is going to cost $150.
So, like he said, that if you are working as a developer in a cloud platform or anything in any company or any profession, so it'll be a good exam to pass and then learn. But if you're not familiar with any of these topics, then the first thing that you guys can do,
For you.
Let me tell you, is to go back and learn about AWS Cloud Practitioner exam. Okay, that exam will give you basic things. Okay, I will take this my notepad for the future reference. Okay, I'll put this as a future reference. Then I will take this and put it here, which we did.
To play that green triangle with the arrows, that is the representation.
This is Amazon fundamental, okay, Azure fundamental, but we are not going to do this. Go back.
Do you want to?
We'll go back to this code and see there are a lot of things. JavaScript in 3 hours, Python's in 4 hours, full course. You will able to learn Python, okay, and then what we are into. This is Python tutorials. This is 4 hours, 5 hours. Tick enter, learn Python, Django, learn HTML. It's a kind of whole tech bunch you'll get into a single YouTube channel, then TensorFlow, Keras. I don't even know about these things, but you guys need to know how deep neural network works. So there's very much Node.js, data structures, talks, bootcamp Hindi. Oh my god, you know that? I haven't heard about it. Bootcamp Hindi. See? Okay. So, for okay, there's not much course, so it's better to switch back there. JavaScript program. Let's go to videos. 3.9 million people. Drivers. Then we have to go to AWS. How do we? It's so many videos they have made, man. These are awesome, awesome. AWS Solution Architect that we were doing, and is for beginners. Complete AWS training. This is AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner training. Okay, so what we gonna learn on this?
Hey, this is Andrew Brown from Exam Pro, and cloud computing has now
Okay,
become one of the essential skills that you need to
because
learn in order
this
to
is just
make it in
4
the
hours
web development
video, so
industry.
we
And
will be able to
AWS,
complete it
Amazon
and
Web
we'll be able to
Services,
give the
is the
exam.
most popular.
Okay, because first of all, my main agenda is to give some certain, give one single exam so that I can get it certified to AWS, and then we'll try to move further and we'll learn about AWS Solution Architect. Then we'll able to go further, and then we'll learn different courses altogether. We have to go and learn MongoDB. We have to learn Hadoop. We have to learn Oracle new services and also let's first start with this.
Cloud computing service used by startups. So this whole course is about getting AWS certified for the Certified Cloud Practitioner, which is the entry-level certification. And the idea here is that by getting the certification, you are going to be able to prove that you can work with cloud computing, prove that you can work with AWS, and you're going to have a lot more job opportunities available to you.
Okay. 6 advantages.
Hey, this is Andrew Brown from Exam Pro.
Oh my god. You'll get to see a lot of breaks in it, okay? Netflix. Lovely.
And we are looking at these 6 advantages and benefits of cloud computing. And so this section really is about why go with a cloud provider over on-premise. Okay, and so let's jump into the first point here. So we have trade capital expense for variable expense. So with on-prem, you would have to pay for your data centers and the servers, and so that would be an upfront cost. Where with a cloud provider, you're paying on demand, so you only pay when you consume those computing resources and pretty much nothing else. Okay, moving on to number 2, we have benefit from massive economics of scale. So when you're using cloud computing, you have usage from hundreds of thousands of customers aggregated in the cloud. And so you are sharing the cost with other customers to get unbeatable savings, which you cannot get on-prem. The next point here is stop guessing capacity. So eliminate guesswork about infrastructure capacity needs. So instead of paying for idle or underutilized servers, you can scale up or down to meet the current needs. So where on-prem, you would just buy your servers and they would either be underutilized because they would just be way too big for the job, or they're just not being utilized all the time. So moving on to number 4, increase speed and agility. So with cloud computing, you can launch resources within a few clicks, within minutes, instead of waiting days or weeks for your IT to implement the solution on-prem. Then number 5, we have stop spending money on running and maintaining data centers. So the idea here is that if you don't have to pay for the servers, the IT staff, and a bunch of other stuff, then you can just focus on your customers, okay? So rather than that heavy lifting of racking, stacking, and powering servers. And the last point here is go global in minutes. So deploy your app in multiple regions around the world with a few clicks. Provide low latency and a better experience for your customers at minimal cost. And so when you have an on-prem environment, that data center is I don't know how many people can afford multiple data centers, but with AWS and cloud computing, you're going to have a lot more reach. Okay, so those are the 6 advantages and benefits of cloud computing, and this definitely shows up on the exam, so you do need to know these 6 points. Hey, this is Andrew Brown from Exam Pro, and we are looking at the types of cloud computing. We have 3 here for us. So we have software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. And you can see that we have this nice pyramid here. I promise you it's not a scheme. It's just a way of showing how one is built on top of another, okay? So starting at the top here, we have software as a service, also known as SaaS. And these are for customers, okay? So the idea is that you have a completed product that is run and managed by the service provider. So you don't have to worry about how the service is maintained. It just works and remains available. So if we had some examples of SaaSes here, maybe you'd have your Gmail or your Office 365.
You guys, if you know about these 3 kind of platforms as SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. Okay, SaaS is software as a service. So where you're getting softwares directly to use it as a service, like Gmail or Office 365 or Salesforce. So these are the softwares that you do not need to worry about their maintenance. You do not need to worry about their services or anything. What you need to care about is just to install, or it's already available. You just need to download, or just need to go there where the services are, and you just need to use it. Okay, you don't need to worry about how the service is maintained, and just work and remains available. Okay, so these services are always available. That's what they are for. Okay, and there is platform as a service. So platform as a service is called it removes the need of your organizations to manage underlying infrastructure. So you'll get a platform like Ubuntu, or you're getting a platform as Unix, or you're getting a platform as Windows. So these are the platform, okay? And you don't need to go into depth how this particular platform is built. So they are giving you as a platform, and you can use those platforms, and you can run your softwares or your applications however you want. Focus on, you need to just focus on your deployment and management applications. And this provisioning, configuring, and understanding of this hardware and OS is not required here as a platform. And then if we talk about IaaS, that is infrastructure as a service, then this is the very basics building blocks of IT. So if we talk about this, there we came with AWS, Google Cloud Platform, and Microsoft Azure, where they help us to give help us to provide all those infrastructure things or building blocks that compute, or IT. So it's like giving RAM, storage, hard disk, network, all those things they will provide on those particular providers. And then we don't need to worry about how to get it, from where to buy it, where to get it. They will have everything. We just need to pick it whatever we need as per our infrastructure, and then we need to start our own. So you can do it like this. So these are the 3 things: IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS.
Or your Salesforce, okay? Going down to platform as a service, this is really intended for developers, and it removes the need for your organization to manage the underlying infrastructure and focus on the deployment and management of your applications. So the idea here is you don't have to worry about provisioning, configuring, and understanding the hardware or OS. It just works. So you have an app, you push it. So for AWS, you have Elastic Beanstalk. Then there's also Heroku, which is a very popular service. And then I believe there's one called like Engines for Google. And then the last one on our list here is infrastructure as service. And this is really intended for admins And so when you're using AWS, GCP, or Azure, this is what infrastructure as a service is. So it's the basic building blocks for cloud IT. So it provides access to networking features, computers, and data storage space. So you don't worry about the IT staff, the data centers, or the hardware, but you have access to all those resources to build whatever you want, okay? And so obviously, if you wanted to build your own platform as a service, you'd build that on top of an infrastructure service. And if you wanted to build your own software as a service, you could build that on top of a platform as a service or an infrastructure as a service. So there you go. Hey, this is Andrew Brown from Exam Pro, and we are looking at cloud computing deployment models. So there are 3 different kinds here. And so we're going to start with cloud on the left-hand side, work on to on-prem, and then talk about hybrid. So cloud is where you are fully utilizing cloud computing. So here I have a few services such as Squarespace, Basecamp, and Dropbox. And it is very well suited for startups because it's extremely low cost. It's great for SaaS offerings where with on-prem or hybrid, they might never get to the size where they need to deal with regulatory bodies, or it's just the nature of the applications are not that complicated. Or if it's new projects or companies, they don't have red tape because they have existing infrastructure, okay? And they can design to be 100% on cloud. So now going on to on-prem. So on-prem is when you are deploying resources on-premise using virtualization and resource management tools, and is sometimes called private cloud. And so on-prem is still being utilized by a lot of companies today. And generally, you will see public sector, so the government has on-prem data centers. When you're dealing with super sensitive data, such as hospitals, you have like health records, there is an aversion to putting that into the cloud. Or you have large enterprises with heavy regulation, so insurance companies. And I mean, these organizations are starting to soften and start utilizing cloud, but there are still holdouts and reasons, both technical and business or political reasons, as to why you cannot use cloud. Okay. Then you have hybrid, and so hybrid is where you use a combination of both cloud and on-prem. So you connect the two with hybrid services, and so we see a lot of banks using this. We see fintech or investment management, or even large professional service providers. And a lot of the reasons why is that they can adopt cloud, but they have legacy on-premise environments, or some of their customers or clients still are not comfortable with cloud computing. So in some capacity, they are using cloud, but it's totally possible that if they started from day one, they would just only use cloud. So there you could say I have CIBC, which is a bank. Then you have the CPP Investment Board, that's a investment board in Canada. Then you have Deloitte, which is a large professional service. So those are the 3 cloud computing deployment models.
This is Udemy, the world's largest marketplace for online learning. On Udemy, I learned ethical hacking and network security.
Hey, this is Andrew Brown from Exam Pro, and we are looking at AWS Global Infrastructure. And what we're going to figure out here is, where does all this cloud computing stuff run, okay? So we have 69 AZs within 22 geographical regions around the world, and we have lots of edge locations, more than available AZs. But what does that all mean? So AWS serves over 1 million active customers in more than 190 countries, and they're steadily expanding.
So we have around 69 availability zones with 22 geographical regions around the world, and way more edge locations than edges. Okay, there are edge locations also in each AZs. So regions are physical locations in the world which with multiple availability zones. So like there might be regions called South America, there might be regions of India, there might be regions in Africa. So in that particular regions, there will be yeah, availability zones inside that, and availability zones one or more discrete data centers. So each availability zones consists of one data center, and then edge locations as data center owned by a trusted partner of AWS. Edge locations can be, or I mean, you can say that it might be or it might not be from Amazon perspective, but there might be some third-party companies which are providing their services, their IT compute services, and they're in a partner with AWS to provide those edge locations. Okay.
Expanding their global infrastructure to help customers achieve low latency and higher throughput. And so that global infrastructure are regions, AZs, and edge locations. So a region is just a physical location in the world with multiple AZs. An AZ is one or more discrete data centers owned by AWS. And then edge locations are data centers owned by a trusted partner of AWS and maybe owned by AWS themselves. And so now that we have that overview, we're going to jump into those three types of infrastructure. Hey, this is Andrew Brown from Exam Pro, and we are looking at regions for the AWS Global Infrastructure. And so a region is a geographically distinct location which has multiple data centers, also known as AZs for AWS. And I've highlighted in red geographically distinct because that is the most important thing you need to remember about regions. Every region is physically isolated from and independent of every other region in terms of location, power, and water supply. Every region has at least two AZs. So again, an AZ is a data center, so it has at least two data centers running within that region. The largest region for AWS is US East, so that is North Virginia. And new services almost always become available first in US East, and not all services are available in all regions, okay? So if you definitely want to use a new feature or service via AWS, your best bet is to switch over to US East. And US East 1, which again is North Virginia, is the region where you see all your billing information, all right? And you can just see here on the left-hand side, I have a bunch of flags for the countries where these regions run in here. I might not have all of them in here, but I definitely have a lot here. So you can see there's a lot of coverage here. So now that we know what a region is, let's just go take a look at some of the features of regions, okay? So I just hopped over to the AWS website because I just wanted to show you a little bit more about regions visually. And so here we have, they say region maps, but these are really just particular continents that house a bunch of regions. So looking at North America, you can see we have regions on the West Coast and the East Coast. And so we have Ohio, Oregon, North California, and we have Canada and North Virginia here, okay? And so you can see in Canada, there's only two availability zones, and they are working on a third one. It was just recently announced. So AWS can always say that they at least have two AZs in every single region, but they're definitely coming close to being able to say they have at least three in every region, which is very important because most companies or enterprises have to run in at least three AZs. So now going on to South America, you can see that there is a single region here, and that is in Brazil. And then we have over here in Europe, so we have a few here. We have London, Stockholm, Frankfurt, Paris, and Brahim. And sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I've forgotten already. Oh, and then we have Ireland. Okay, sorry Ireland. I know you're there as well. Okay, and then on to Asia Pacific. So we have mainland China, Sydney. So that, I would think that would be Australia there. Tokyo, so that's Japan. Seoul, so that is Korea. I cannot say that, but that's another place in mainland China. And we have another place in Japan, and then Mumbai, so I believe that is India. And then we have Hong Kong, so that's Hong Kong, okay? So yeah, those are the regions. And then if we just hop over here to the regional table, this gives you an idea what services are offered. So when we said that not all services are available, you can kind of see that, like, for example, that Amazon Connect is only available in a few regions. So we have North Virginia and North Carolina. Okay, and then Deep Lens really is only in Northern Virginia. So again, as I said, everything is Northern Virginia. You can see we have checkboxes all the way down here. And this is also broken up based on those geographical continents. So if I go here, you can see Ireland seems to be having all the ones in Europe. And then in Asia Pacific, it looks like, I guess, Singapore. Singapore looks like they have the majority of services there. Okay, so there you go. That is Hey, this is Andrew Brown from Exam Pro, and we are looking at availability zones, also known as AZs. So an AZ is a data center owned and operated by AWS in which AWS services run. Each region has at least 2 AZs, and AWS is getting pretty close to being able to say that they have at least 3 AZs in all regions. AZs are represented by a region code followed by a letter identifier. So US East 1 is the region, that would be North Virginia, and A is the data center, okay? And so for North Virginia, there are 6 AZs, so you'd have A, B, C, D, E, F, okay? Then we want to just talk on the concept of multi-AZ. So this is when you're distributing your instances across multiple availability zones, which allows for failover configuration for handling requests when one AZ goes down, okay? So that is very useful. And then one more thing we want to note is that the latency between availability zones is sub 10 milliseconds, okay? So these AZs are purposely positioned to be exactly that far apart, okay? And so there you go. Hey, this is Andrew Brown from Exam Pro, and we are looking at edge locations, and this is all about getting data fast or uploading data fast to AWS. So an edge location is a data center owned by a trusted partner of AWS, which has a direct connection to the AWS network. These locations serve requests for CloudFront and Route 53, and requests going to either of these services will be routed to the nearest edge location automatically. We also have S3 transfer acceleration and API gateway. And the idea here is that this is where you want to upload data quickly to AWS. You're going to use these 2 services to hit a special endpoint at an edge location to then transfer stuff quickly via the AWS network, okay? So the whole takeaway from this is that edge locations allow for low latency no matter where the end user is geographically located. All right, so we're back on the AWS website here where we were looking at regions earlier, but this time I want to give attention to edge locations. So edge locations are the little blue dots here, and you can see there are a lot of them, okay? And so down below we have an idea of how many edge locations there are. You can see that there are a lot. So even just in Atlanta alone, there are 5. And so they definitely outnumber availability zones. Okay, so just to give you an idea, those are the ones for North America. Then down below, we have just a few there, okay, for Brazil. Then in Europe, we have quite a few here. And then in Asia Pacific, we have more edge locations. So there you go. That's edge locations. Hey, this is Andrew Brown from Exam Pro, and we're going to take a look at GovCloud, okay? And so GovCloud is a very special region that allows customers to host sensitive, controlled, unclassified information and other types of regulated workloads. So the GovCloud region is only operated by employees who are U.S. citizens and U.S. or on U.S. soil. So it's definitely not something that I can use because you have to be a U.S. identity and root account holders who pass a screening process in order to use this particular region. So who is this very special region for? It's for customers that need to architect secure cloud solutions that comply with FedRAMP, the Department of Justice, the U.S. International Traffic in Arms Regulation, Export Administration Regulations, and the Department of Defense, okay? So it just makes it a lot easier if you are working in the U.S. with these government bodies in order to utilize cloud computing, okay? So I just hopped back over here on the AWS Global Infrastructure Regions page because I just wanted to highlight here those GovCloud regions. So there actually are 2. There's one on US West and US East. As far as I'm aware of, there aren't any other GovClouds other than for US at this time. Maybe in the future AWS will have it for other countries, but for the time being, it's just the US. And just to look at the GovCloud page here in more detailed here, you can see all the nice graphics here that address security and compliance. So if you want to...
So like this AWS Cloud, if you're talking about these other government clouds, you can say that, and all the activities and security and compliance is based on the government organizations and their security guidelines. So it's not so easy, or it's not easy. Yeah, it's not so easy to get into these, and there are a lot of security firewalls. So this is the kind of a cloud which is used by US organizations only, some limited organizations. Okay, and these are some companies you can say that in part of US organizations which are using it. This is ITAR, FISMA, RedTrap, RAMP, NSIFs, HIPAA. So apart from this, because they are not using the private and public cloud, because they have some sensitive data and they have some confidential informations that they need to store, and they don't have to they have to I mean they need to worry about those informations that it should not go into public. Okay, so just to stay safe, and just to be intact with their confidential data, they because this AWS company itself is a US company. So when they were building this cloud, so they thought of having their own cloud, which is not accessible by normal public. Okay, so this is a kind of a different cloud than your private cloud, your public cloud, your hybrid cloud, and then there is another cloud called GovCloud.
To build something and sell it to the government or government related industries, by using GovCloud, you are going to become compliant, okay? And that's going to make business a lot easier for you. So yeah, that's all you need to know.
Do you want to learn how to hack into systems as an ethical hacker? Check this. I've used this Linux.
Hey, this is Andrew Brown from Exam Pro, and I'm going to show you how to get set up with your AWS account. So here I am on the AWS homepage, and we have two buttons that we can click on. Click the one here in the middle, or click the big orange button to create our account. I like to press the orange one, so that's what I'm going to go ahead and do here, okay? Okay, great. And so now we're going to be presented with a form here. So I'm going to go ahead here and just fill in an email. So I'm going to do Andrew plus fresh at exampro.co, since this is a fresh account, okay? And I'm just going to supply some kind of password here. I'm going to call this the Exam Pro a fresh account, okay? And I'm just going to go ahead here and continue. So now, in order to create this account, we're going to have to provide some additional information here. So I'm just going to mark this as a personal, and I'm going to fill in this information here. Okay, and so I'm just going to have to go here and fill that in. Okay, so now I have that information filled in there, and so I'm just going to have to check here to say that I agree to their customer agreement. Okay, and we can go ahead and create our account. Now, in order to use AWS, you have to have a valid credit card. You cannot use AWS without a credit card, okay? So that's just something that you're going to have to do. So I'm going to just go ahead here and provide my credit card here, okay? All right, so now I have all my information filled in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and verify and add. Okay, and then now it just wants to also verify my phone number. This is definitely something that's required. So I'm just going to provide my phone number here. Okay, great. My phone number is in there. I'm just going to supply the security check here. So we'll just fill that in. Okay, and then we will just send an SMS and confirm. Great, so that text message came in here. So I'm just going to fill in the confirmation here, 0448, okay. And great, so now we're verified. Okay, so now we are going to choose our support plan. We're definitely going to go with the basic here. Great, and so now we just have a little bit of information here. I don't really need to do any of this. I'm just ready to go sign into the console. Great, so now that we've created our account, I believe we could probably go ahead and sign up here. I'm not sure if we have to confirm our email because we did confirm by phone number, but let's just give it a go here and see if we can log in, okay? So we'll just put that in there. We'll just provide the password.
He's just creating his own account, and he'll show you how this works.
Great, so we have made it into this AWS account here. So this new account is realized. So there you go. And maybe we'll just have to poke around here to see if there's anything else we need to do. But yeah, we're in good shape.
So this is the first step of logging into AWS account, and after that you'll be able to learn more about the services that offering through AWS portal. Okay, so let's see how it goes.
Hey, this is Andrew Brown from Exam Pro, and what we're going to do now is make sure you do not get overbilled, and there are 3 ways we're going to do that. So there are some billing preferences we're going to set. We're going to set up a budget in AWS Budgets, and we're also going to create a billing alarm, okay? I'm just going to talk you also through as to like the advantages and disadvantages of some of these things, and also just make sure we do not get overbilled within our account. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to make your way over to support, maybe under your account here. You're going to go to My Billing Dashboard. And when you get over here, I want you to click on the left-hand side here and go to Billing Preferences, okay? And so we're going to have a bunch of preferences here, and they're all really good. So the first one is receive a PDF invoice by email. I would check that on. Receive free tier usage alerts. This is definitely important because if you have a free account, you want to know when you are going outside that free tier. And so then you just provide your email there. So I'm just going to do Andrew plus fresh at exampro.co there. And then we have receive billing alerts, okay? And you definitely want to turn that on. And there is this detailed billing reports down here. This is a legacy feature. This has now been replaced with cost and usage reports, okay? So it's not necessary to turn that on. And actually do show you how to use cost and usage somewhere in this course here. So we will cover that. But anyway, make sure these are all 3 ticked on. Provide your email and save your preferences, okay? And now you're going to be in the loop of some of your billing information, okay? So now that we have these preferences set up, let's make our way over to AWS Budgets. So I want you to go to the top here, and we're going to type in budgets, okay? And so what budgets do is they allow you to tell you whether you are getting over or whether you are going over your defined budget, or it's going to also provide some forecast cost to you as well. Okay, so now that AWS Budgets here has loaded, what I want you to do is create a new budget. You get 2 free budgets in AWS, so we can definitely set 2 there. It's 2 cents per day for budgets, and so that doesn't sound like a lot, but if you made your 3rd budget, it's going to cost you $14 per month, okay? So for more additional ways of tracking costs, we're going to use billing alarms, which really are inexpensive or free, but we'll do budgets first because it's good to at least have 1 budget set here for all costs. So here I'm just going to say overall costs, okay? All right, and we will leave it monthly here. I can't remember if overall is 1 or 2 L's. I think it's 2. We want this to be a recurring budget. We're going to have a fixed cost, and we're going to set it something very low, such as $20, okay? Since we are using, again, the free tier, we should not be expecting to see a bill for quite a while, and $20 is a good low bill there. And we definitely want all costs unblended, so this is great, and everything is checkbox there. So we'll go ahead here and configure alerts, and we're going to provide our email again. So I'm going to do Andrew plus fresh at exampro.co, okay? And we'll just hit add there. It's already been added. You could also use SNS, but we're going to leave that alone. And we can also get alerted when we are approaching it. So we haven't surpassed 100%, but actually I'm just going to set it to 100 because $20 to me is not a lot. And we can do this for actual or forecasted. I'm going to leave that for actual, okay? And I'm going to go ahead there and create that budget. All right, and so we don't have any information here, but if I just give it a hard refresh, so if you are using an account where you're doing stuff, if you do refresh there, you'll probably see more information. Okay, great, and so we've created a budget. So now that we have our budget created there, let's go make a billing alarm for a higher amount, okay? So what I want you to do is go to Services and type in CloudWatch, okay? And once we are over here, we are going to make our way over to Alarms. All right, and so we're going to make our way over to a billing here. And what it's going to tell us is that we need to switch regions because billing metrics always live in US East 1, okay? So generally, it's always good to switch to that region there. So what we'll do is we'll go up to the top here and switch to US East 1, okay? And so now if we go to billing, we can now set our billing alarm, okay? So notice down here that we get 10 free alarms and 1,000 free email notifications. So it's definitely more free than budgets, okay? But budgets does have a lot more functionality there. But you can definitely use both, okay? So here I'm creating a new a billing alarm, and I'm just going to scroll down here, and we can set the amount. So here I'm just going to set a larger amount, such as $100. And so if it's greater or equal to that, then it is going to alert me, okay? And we'll leave CAD and estimated charges there alone. We'll look at some additional configuration. This is all good. We'll hit next, okay? And then the next thing is we need it to actually notify us. So we're going to say add notification here. And, oh, I think I already had one here, so it's not necessary, but we needed to send it to something. So it's going to need an SNS topic. We don't have one, so we'll create a new one. Okay, and we can call this notify me. Okay, and then I'll just provide my email there again. Okay, and we'll hit create topic. And then we'll go ahead and hit next. And we'll just say, so this $100 billing alarm. I don't know if it'll let you do spaces there, so I'm just out of habit, I always leave out spaces. Great, and so we're just previewing it here, so we'll just scroll down. This all looks good. And so now we have a billing alarm. So, you know, it's not uncommon to create multiple billing alarms. So you could have one at 100 and then 150 and 200, just so you can keep track of that stuff. And of course, you definitely want to make use of AWS budgets. So you have two there that you can utilize. So maybe once you start using your account and you use the live EC2 instances and you just want to monitor that, you create a budget for that. But yeah, we have all bases covered here. And the only thing that is left to do is we need to confirm this the email that was sent out to us so that our billing alarm, it will take effect, okay? All right, so that notification was sent to me for the billing alarm there for Notify Me. So it's just me subscribing to that SNS topic. I guess we only have to do this once, and I think we add additional ones we won't have to confirm. But I'm just going to go ahead here and hit confirmation, okay? And so now that is confirmed there, okay? And I think if I do a refresh here, it should say that this is now a different state. Okay, so it just has nothing there, which is good. So yeah, we are all set up, and we don't have to worry about getting overbilled.
This is Udemy, the world's largest marketplace for online learning. On Udemy, I learned ethical hacking and network.
All right, so there's a little bit more work we need to do to have our account fully set up so we can start working with AWS. And what I want you to do is make your way over to IAM. So just go up here and type in IAM. If you click that there, you'll end up in the same place that I am here. And so we have a bunch of recommendations here that AWS wants us to do. So we need to turn MFA on our root account. We need to create individual users because we generally do not want to be using the root account, which is what we're logged in as right now. And we'll have to set some groups and assign permissions and apply an IAM password policy. So let's go ahead and do that. But just before we do, I just want to make it easier for us to sign in. So what we can do here is change this URL. So just go ahead here and customize, and we're just going to say Exam Pro Fresh, okay? And that is a unique name. So if you type in something and it says it's not, or it's taken, you'll just have to change it until you get something that you like. So now that we have that set up, let's go turn on MFA. So we're going to want to turn on MFA for this account, specifically the root account here. And the reason why is that, let's say someone stole your email and password to this root account, then they would be able to do some serious damage. So by turning on MFA, there's going to be an additional layer of security. So the idea is when somebody logs in, they're going to have to provide an additional code based on the MFA delivery mechanism. So just let's go here and hit Manage MFA. Okay, and so it's going to pop up here and just say what we're already doing, which is to start securing our account. And so I'm just going to click off there, go to MFA, and activate MFA. And so now we're going to be presented with three options. We have virtual, UTF, and other hardware. So virtual is going to be for mobile devices. That's what we're going to do. So we're just going to go ahead there and hit continue. Okay, and what we want to do is we want to install a compatible application on our phone. So just going over here, if we scroll down, it's going to tell us which ones are compatible. I definitely know Authenticator is one, so I'm just going to search for that there. Where are you? Yeah, down here. So if you're on Android or iPhone, you have Auth2 or Google Authenticator. I'm using Google Authenticator. I find that more easy to use. And then the idea here is you'll just hit show QR code. And then once you have Authenticator installed, you're going to open up the Authenticator app. I know you can't see me doing this, so I'll just have to talk my way through it here. And there's a plus button in Google Authenticator, and it says scan a barcode. And so now I'm holding my phone up to the computer there. It's grabbed the code and it's saved the secret. So now what I need to do is enter in 2 consecutive codes. So going down here, I'm going to enter this code in before it expires. So this one is 786763. And then there's a little wheel that is spinning, and it's going to then give us a new set of numbers. Okay, and so now it is now 984816. And so I'm just going to hit assign MFA there, and now MFA is turned on. So now that we have MFA turned on, we can make our way back to our dashboard and proceed to the next step. So now we're going to proceed to create ourselves our own user, because again, we do not want to be using the root account. This should be rarely used, and we should just create ourselves a user. So we'll hit manage users here. We're going to hit add user. I'm going to create a new one called Andrew Brown. We're going to give it pragmatic access and access to the console. We're going to let it auto generate a password for us, and we're going to make sure that it requires a password reset the next time this user logs in. Going to permissions, we don't have any groups, so we're going to create a group here, and we're going to call this group an admin, or admins, I should say, and we're going to give it administrator access. Now, generally, you don't want to be giving too many users admin access, because this gives you full access, just like a root account. But for our purposes here, this is totally fine. It's not unusual to have 1 or 2 admins within your entire account, but generally you want to set most people as power user. Okay, and this is it gives you full access, but there are some limitations, such as you don't have the ability to manage users and groups. So power user is a very good one here, but for this one here, we are going to stick with admin. I'm going to hit create group, and we are going to go ahead and hit next and review, and we will hit create user. And so now what it will do is we're going to get an access key ID, a secret, and a password. So I'm just going to expose those here, and I'm just going to copy these off screen. All right, and then we will just proceed here. Okay, so I just copied at least my password off screen here, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to make my way back to the IAM console. So we'll just go up here, services, and we can just type in IAM. Okay, and so now we have done pretty much everything here except for setting a password policy. So just before we go ahead and set a password policy, what I want to do is I want to log into this new user. So we have this nice long URL here. So I want you to copy that URL. And what we're going to do is we're going to log out and now log in as that new user. Okay. So I'll just go ahead here and log out. Great. So I'm logged out here. And so the way we can get to that page is we can paste in that URL up here, which will bring us to the console. And so you can always use that link, or if you can remember that alias, you can always just go to the console and type it in there. And so my name was Andrew Brown here. I'm just going to go off screen and grab my password. And I'm just going to hit sign in here. All right. And so now I just need to reset my password here. So I'm going to provide the old password, and we are going to set a new password. Great. And so now I'm logged in, not as the root user, but as a new user I've created. And just one more thing here, I want to go back to IAM here. And the reason I want to go back here is that I exposed my access key and password to you. And anytime that actually happens, what you're going to want to do is go to your user there. And I'm going to go to Andrew Brown here. And we're going to go to our security credentials. And you can see that was that access key, and you saw that password. So what I can do is I can make it inactive, and then I can create myself another access key. And I'm not going to show you the secret this time around, but it's just, you know, anytime you accidentally share your credentials, you're definitely going to want to reset them there. And the password that you saw earlier, it doesn't matter because I reset my password when I logged in here, okay? So now that that is all set up, what we will do is we will log out of this account and we will log back in as the root account to set up a password policy. Okay, and I just want to show you when I go to sign into the console, it's going to show me this filled in. And so whenever we're logging in as the root account, we actually have to click this link down below. And so we would just type in our email here. But if I wanted to log back in as that user, I could just type in here Exam Pro Fresh, and it would bring me back to here, and I would fill in this information. But if you're always logging in as the root user, I'm just going to click back there. It's always your email. I know that's a little bit confusing, but that's just how it works. And so this time around, I got the MFA, so I can't just log in willy-nilly. So I'm just going to use my phone, and I'm going to open up Authenticator, and I have to provide it that code, okay? So it's those numbers again. So this one's going to be 904361. I'm going to hit submit. And so now I'm back into my account, and we'll make our way back to IAM and do that last step there. And so we just have one more thing that AWS wants us to do, and let's apply an IAM password policy. So we'll go down here and click Manage Password Policy. And so what we can see is a bunch of stuff, and we really just care about this part up here. So I'll set password policy. And now we can see some rules. So you can enforce the minimum characters. You can require at least one uppercase, one lowercase, at least one number, require at least one of these, enable password expiration. Yeah, I could do that, I suppose. Password expiration requires admin reset, maybe not. Allow users to change their own password, definitely. Prevent password reuse, so ensure they don't use the same password. I would probably just crank this up as high as possible. We'll leave it as 5, and we'll save changes. And so now, if we go back to our dashboard, we should satisfy that entire list. And so we have. So we've met every requirement of AWS. So generally, from now on, you should just log in as that user and stay out of your root account, okay?
What makes a really good movie or a really good show?
Hey, this is Andrew Brown from Exam Pro, and now that we've set up our account, I want to go through the motions of using some of the most common AWS services with you here so you can gain some confidence here on the platform itself, and just to have some practical hands-on experience. This is not going to be a very difficult section. It's not important for you to remember anything, but just to, again, gain confidence. And just before we get started here, I want to make sure that you are in the North Virginia region, okay? So North Virginia, also known as US East 1. The reason why it's 1 is because there's another US East, which is US East 2. This one is US East 1 because it came first. But based on the region you're in is going to change the offerings that you have, because not everything is available in every single region. Generally, they are across all regions, but like if I was in Canada Central, we have fewer availability zones. Those are data centers, where in North Virginia, we have like 6. And if there are any new features, they're definitely going to be in North Virginia. So I'm just going to ask you to change over to that region and follow along with me there, okay? So the first thing I want you to do is I'm going to show you how to launch a server. So a server is going to be using EC2. So going up to services here, we will type in EC2, and we'll make our way over to the EC2 console. So once we are here, I want you to go ahead and launch a new instance. So there's a big blue button here. So we'll just hit launch instance. And now we're going to be presented with a bunch of options to configure our server. So we are going to choose what OS we want to use. We're going to stick with Amazon Linux 2 because it's part of the free tier, and saving money is a great thing when we are learning. the next thing we need to do is choose the size of our server here. So these are called instance types. And so you can see that the memory gets larger and the amount of CPUs get larger. We're going to stick with T2 Micro because, again, that's part of the free tier and we want to save some money. Going next to instance details, we can choose how many instances we want to start. An instance is a server. So if you have 10 instances, that's 10 servers. And we have a lot of options here. We're going to launch it in our default VPC and into the default subnet. It is going to be auto-assigned a public IP, so it's going to be public-facing. And we're going to want to create an IAM role here. So what I want you to do is go ahead and just right-click here and make a new tab, because we want to give this a bit of permissions. So up here, I'm just going to go to the IAM Management Console. And I want you to make your way down and create a new role. And so we are going to be presented with a bunch of options. So we are creating a role for EC2. So we'll select EC2. We're going to go to next to permissions. And I want you to type in SSM. And I want you to choose Amazon EC2 role for SSM. SSM is Simple Systems Manager. And that's going to be a way for us to actually log into that machine. Okay. And so we're going to get here, and I'm just going to say my EC2 role. And I want you to hit create role. And so now that role has been created. And we will just go ahead and close that tab there. And we will drop this down. You're going to see that it says none. So we'll hit the refresh button here. And we'll choose my EC2 role. So now we have that set up. We are going to leave everything else blank. And I want you to go to storage. So here you can choose how much storage you want. It's going to have 8 gigabytes by default. You can change the volume type. We're going to stick with general purpose. And we are going to go review and launch. And we are going to hit launch. And it's going to ask you to create a key pair. And so key pairs are used to get into the server. But we actually don't need one because we are using SSM, which is another way of logging into the server. So we're going to proceed without a key pair. Okay, and we'll just set I acknowledge that. I will not be able to connect to this instance unless I already know the built-in password, which is not true because we can get through Systems Manager, but we will go ahead and launch this instance. All right, and so this instance is now launching. In order for us to see it, you can either go view instances. We'll just click that down below here. All right, and so now this instance is launching, and you're going to see it in a pending state, and we're waiting for 2 status.
Yeah, this is a very simple way to launch the EC2 instance on Amazon, and after launching this instance, you will be able to connect to that instance the way you want. You want to connect it from your local machine through PuTTY software, or you want to log in through this SSM, and that is simple manager, I guess, as some kind of a manager from there, from where you directly logging to that particular instance and you can work over it. Okay, this is a kind of a virtual machine for you because you're not doing anything, you're just clicking things, and just once machine setup is there, because no hardware, nothing, no worries about the back end of this, and you're getting your platform. Okay, and then on top of that you can do a lot of application things that you're supposed to do whatever you want.
Checks to pass. So this is going to turn from yellow to green, and then we're going to wait for this to initialize. And once that's done here, I'll see you here in a moment. Go. Okay, so after a short wait here, I think I waited about 3 to 4 minutes. Our server is now running, and it also has 2 checks. So that means that the server is in good shape. So now that our server is running, we'll just go take a peek down here because we get a variety of different information, such as when it was launched, the IAM role, the security group that it is in, which was the default one, what size it was, and we can see that it has a public IP address and private IP addresses. Okay, so now that the server is running, this is costing us money. Now we are on the free tier, so I guess technically it's not. But if we wanted to shut this down, and we're not going to shut it down just yet, but I'm just showing here that we would just go here to terminate, and that would shut the server down, and then we would no longer be paying for it. We could also stop the instance, and that wouldn't destroy it, but it would not have it not run anymore, and we'd also be saving money, okay? So whether you stop or terminate that instance will ensure that you save money. So now that this is done, let's actually learn how to get access to this instance. All right, so there's a couple different ways we can get into this instance. One way is using SSH. So if we had created that key pair, we could have used it to get into that server here, or we can use Simple Systems Manager, Sessions Manager, which is my preferred way, and AWS's recommended way, which is what we're going to do. But just before we go ahead over to SSM, I want you to right-click here and just go to Connect, and you can see that it's actually giving you instructions. So if you had downloaded that key pair, you would have had to chmod it. You would have had to do a bunch of other stuff. So you'd have to use SSH and provide that key to get into it. So there are instructions there. There's also this EC2 Instance Connect. And so this is another way to connect. I'm not sure if it would let us in here without our key pair, but I'll just give it a go here. And it did. So this is one way. This is actually, I guess, the third way to access it. So actually, I'm in the server right now. But the way I want to show you how to get in is via Simple Systems Manager. So I'm just going to go ahead there and close that. And I want you to go to the top here and type in SSM, which is for Simple Systems Manager. Even though they never display the simple word there anymore, it definitely is part of the name. And then once we are over here, I want you to go to the left-hand side and go to Session Manager. And we're going to start a session. And so we can see we have our instance. So remember when we created that IAM role and we set it with that SSM EC2 role? That was so that we could use Sessions Manager. And the advantage here of using Sessions Manager, it's going to log every time somebody uses a session. So I just hit start on that session there. And so it's very similar to that other Connect screen here. And it actually logs in as the root user, not the EC2 user, which is a bit frustrating. So we'd have to do sudo su EC2-user, and now we are the correct user, and we are within this instance. So, you know, that's how you gain access to it. We're not really going to be doing much with this instance today. So I want you to go ahead and terminate this instance, or sorry, that session there. But that session history is recorded. So by forcing everyone to use Sessions Manager, you're going to have a bit more visibility over what's going on with these machines, whereas SSH might not provide that same visibility without you manually putting that effort in there, okay? But we'll make our way back to the EC2 console here. So just type in EC2 here again. And once we are here, I want you to go on the left-hand side to Instances. And so here we can see our server. So we now know how to get into this machine. And I would say that we probably want to go ahead and stop this instance here. So I want you to go ahead and just stop it, okay? And that way, it's not going to cost us anything. And now we can do our next step, which is to create an AMI. All right, so now we're going to learn how to create an AMI, and you can think of an AMI as like a snapshot or like saving a copy of your entire server. So what you're going to do is go up to the, make sure the instance is selected there, go to Actions. We're going to go to Image here and create an image. Now we could create an image whether this is stopped or running. If it was terminated, the server wouldn't exist anymore, so there would be nothing to create an image of. Well, we'll go ahead here and create an image. And we are going to have to provide it some information. So I'm just going to call this fresh -000. Okay. And then you can see that it has an instance volume. And so that is the hard drive that's attached there. And we're just going to leave it as the default settings and create an image. And so now it's creating the image and it's view pending image creation. So we'll click on this blue link here and we'll just wait until that is created. Now it doesn't take too long. The idea here is now once we have an AMI, if we wanted to launch another a copy of this the server, we were just going to have to hit launch here, okay? But the real reason I wanted you to set up this AMI was because we are going to next set up an auto-scaling group, and we're going to need an AMI to do that, okay? So I'll just see you here in a little bit once this is done. And I just wanted to show you here that it is done, all right? And so now if we wanted to launch a version of the server, we could hit launch. And it's going to go to the second step. So if we go back here, you can actually see that it chose fresh 000. So if we were to proceed through this, it's a way for us to upgrade our server or make other changes to it, or just so that we have a copy of it so we can launch multiple servers. And just to get back to the AMI there, I'm just going to click on the left-hand side here. But yeah, that's all we need to know for AMI, and we'll move on to auto-scaling groups.
This is Udemy, the world's largest marketplace for online learning. On Udemy, I learned ethical hacking and network security. Udemy made it incredibly easy. I learned penetration testing, how to identify vulnerabilities, and set up lab environments. Basically everything used to protect and secure a network. With thousands of mobile-friendly video courses, Udemy's expert instructors.
All right, so now that we've created an AMI, we are ready to make an auto-scaling group. So down below, I want you to go to auto-scaling groups. And so what an auto-scaling group does is it allows you to ensure that multiple instances or servers are running. So if you always wanted to guarantee that one server is running, an auto-scaling group would have a rule that would check to say, is at least one running? And if not, then launch a new server. Also, auto-scaling groups are used to meet the demand of whatever traffic you have. So let's say you have a web application or a website and it's going to get a lot of traffic and it's going to need more servers. Well, auto-scaling groups will determine based on certain metrics that. All right, so there's a couple different ways we can get into this instance. One way is using SSH. So if we had created that key pair, we could have used it to get into that server here, or we can use simple systems manager, sessions manager, which is my preferred way, and AWS's recommended way, which is what we're going to do. But just before we go ahead over to SSM, I want you to right click here and just go to connect. And you can see that it's actually giving you instructions. So if you had downloaded that key pair, you would have had to chmod it. You would have had to do a bunch of other stuff. So you'd have to use SSH and provide that key to get into it. So there are instructions there. There's also this EC2 instance connect. And so this is another way to connect. I'm not sure if it would let us in here without our key pair, but I'll just give it a go here. And it did. So this is one way. This is actually, I guess, the third way to access it. So actually, I'm in the server right now. But the way I want to show you how to get in is via Simple Systems Manager. So I'm just going to go ahead there and close that. And I want you to go to the top here and type in SSM, which is for Simple Systems Manager. Even though they never display the simple word there anymore, it definitely is part of the name. And then once we are over here, I want you to go to the left-hand side and go to Session Manager. And we're going to start a session. And so we can see we have our instance. So remember when we created that IAM role and we set it with that SSM EC2 role? That was so that we could use Sessions Manager. And the advantage here of using Sessions Manager, it's going to log every time somebody uses a session. So I just hit start on that session there. And so it's very similar to that other connect screen here. And it actually logs in as the root user, not the EC2 user, which is a bit frustrating. So we'd have to do sudo su EC2-user, and now we are the correct user, and we are within this instance. So, you know, that's how you gain access to it. We're not really going to be doing much with this instance today. So I want you to go ahead and terminate this instance, or sorry, that session there. But that session history is recorded. So by forcing everyone to use Sessions Manager, you're going to have a bit more visibility over what's going on with these machines, whereas SSH might not provide that same visibility without you manually putting that effort in there, okay? But we'll make our way back to the EC2 console here. So just type in EC2 here again. And once we are here, I want you to go on the left-hand side to instances. And so here we can see our server. So we now know how to get into this machine. And I would say that we probably want to go ahead and stop this instance here. So I want you to go ahead and just stop it, okay? And that way it's not going to cost us anything. And now we can do our next step, which is to create an AMI.
Okay, guys, so this is all along. It's like a 1 hour video. And so we'll continue next time. And till then, you can, go onto this particular channel. If you want to learn more, you can learn it on freecodescam.org. And let me know if you guys like this video or not, okay? I hope you guys do well in your exams. Till then, see you. Good night. Have a good day.